January 12th, 2004. I got locked up 3 years for distribution of oxycodone. That wasn't my low point. I got out just like everybody else and done my probation time. While I was in there, got divorced and lost a home. Didn't have but a handful of payments left. And they locked me up just long enough to make sure I lost that. And didn't have no vehicle when I come home. You know, Back at home with my parents, had been living on my own since I was 19. And man, it was just a low point. You know, Fast forward a few years, I ended up meeting my wife, Courtney, and, you know, we got pregnant right off and had a baby, Guy Anthony, number two. God, what a blessing. And it saddens me to think that, you know, even after the birth of my son, that mindset, it just it just wasn't there yet. I wasn't mentally ready to give all of it up and just focus in on all the good things and the things that God, wants you to have, and the things, the good things He wants you to feel. I remember about 8 years ago, been more like about 6 years ago, but wound up buying a bunch of pain pills. And man, I'd been doing a bunch of. Actually, it was 8 years ago to be exact. It was 8 years ago, but I bought a bunch of pain pills, and a bunch of Xanaxes. I've done enough pain pills and stuff like that to build you a bridge from here to California. But I remember being out in my building, and for the first time in my life, I didn't want to kill myself, but I just didn't feel that desire to live. And it was wrapped in confusion, wrapped in a fog of, just never really accepting what real coping skills look like, and wrapped up in just disappointment and not being able to figure out what that step forward really looked like, you know? Just felt like such a loser, like I'd let everybody down, the whole world. Like, and even the people that was still with me, I knew they were disappointed in me. Every time I seen them look at me, I knew they were disappointed in me. And it just got it got so overwhelming. It was like the whole world just collapsed in on me. And here I'm supposed to be happy and supposed to be feeling good and ready to be a dad and a husband and a brother and a son and whatever the world needed me to be. And for whatever reason, my mind was stuck in, I wasn't worth that space anymore. And up until that point, I'd always kind of had this shield around me, like that would never, that thought would never cross my mind. Like, because like I said, I don't feel like I was ever suicidal. I just feel like I finally reached a point, or I reached a point where I didn't care if I lived or died. And it wasn't because I didn't want to be here with the people that I love. It was just because I knew I wasn't here with the people that I loved, even though I was here. They basically had a dead corpse. Anyway, that was my mindset. I did every pain pill that I had in my possession that night. Every one of them. And for any of y'all that have ever been on pain pills, you know you don't ever do all of it. I did every pain pill, every Xanax, and it was the most helpless feeling I ever felt in my life, because I knew there was enough there to take me out. I knew there was. And I knew that I'd already done a lot. And to me, I knew that that was, in some kind of way, maybe being mad, being sad. Like somehow that was going to, you know, prove to the world how mad I was, how angry I was, how sad, how disappointed, and where life had brought me. And most importantly, that I'd let myself slip back into such a dark, deep hole. Because God, I'd been through so many times, trying to figure out how you're supposed to cope in this world, and just feeling like I didn't know how to cope, but I didn't know how to ask nobody. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to say, man, I'm lost. I can't find me no more. I'm here, but I don't know where this is. And, you know, by the grace of God, I guess my tolerance was enough that I'm here. I'm here. And I had a few more toy rounds, as far as, I found me some more pain pills the next day, but that was when I finally come to my regular self, as far as, not being extremely high and just passed out and gone. That was when I realized that, man, it was time to put this in check. There's got to be something better. And I can't say that's when that I quit, but I can say that that's when I truly put my foot down and got a foothold for the first time. Not because somebody locked me up for a few years, or I was sent to some clinic or some whatever. No, because God spared me and didn't have to. And I knew that, because the last thing I ever wanted to do was die. And I know this now. And thankfully, I was spared that was a chance. If it was going to be my day, that was going to be it. And thankfully, that was my wake up call in my head, like, man, you have definitely allowed this drug and these substances to totally control you. And I've never let any person ever control me. I may not be big, I may not be the strongest, but man, I ain't never let nobody walk on me, and I ain't never been nobody's fool. But here I done let this little old pain pill, and this thing, it couldn't, if all I gotta do is throw it in the trash, it ain't like it can jump up out of the trash and get me. And I ain't got the strength to do that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I've been through this pain before. I went through that. And that was kind of how I started thinking about it. Like, okay, I've been through this before. I know how bad this is going to suck. I also know that I'm going to make it. I know that I can get through that. I come off of dope. I was doing more dope than 3 or 4 people were doing when I went to jail. I think I weighed about 117 pounds. I was doing enough drugs to kill a couple people every day. And I come off of it in jail, in a cell, stuck with 3, 4, and 5 other men sometimes. If I can do that, then I can kick this stuff. So I started learning. I started figuring out, like, okay, what is this Suboxone all about? What is this all about? What is that all about? And I just knew then that from what I knew about the Suboxone and what I knew about the methadone was, man, it was just as tough to come off of that stuff as it was to come off of opioids if you don't, try to do it correctly. And I just that was my foothold. And I had some help in the fact that I'd been through it before, and I'd been through it during the suck, guys. It sucked coming off of dope in prison, in jail. Really, I was clean by the time I hit prison. Well, thankfully, that would have been even harder to deal with, especially as a little fellow, and country, and just you're getting sent into the penitentiary. You know what I mean? You ain't wasn't rough. Well, nothing that anybody couldn't handle. But I promise you, it wasn't a walk in the park either. And you had to keep your head on a swivel. And it changed me in a lot of ways about men and about people. Um, I try to love, but man, I try to know what's going on too, because I just know how quick be stabbed in the back. And, that's something I'm still working through. I guess that would be considered a trust issue. But, guys, I appreciate everybody that's here. I pray for any and all of you that's trying to kick that substance and get past it. And just know, just get you a foothold and try. And know that it does get better. It does get better. And there is another side. And I'm praying for you. And it's a sincere prayer. And just know you're not alone. There is people out there that understand. And, start digging in. Find your foothold. Don't worry about what the world says your foothold should be. You find your foothold and then give it a go. And just keep giving it a go. And reach out when you need to with honesty and sincerity. And there'll be people there that are reaching back to help. So I encourage you, please, get your foothold. Give it a go. Guys, my name is Guy Bandy. This is Creating Change. And, here we just try to explore the things that I've been through so that maybe other people can, find a way for themselves through things that I've been through, stories that I have. So I appreciate y'all being here. If you don't mind, like, subscribe, share if you feel so led. If not, I really don't care. I just appreciate you being here. So until next time, y'all take care.